Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for Tormented Souls 2. So, dear viewers, this video game released rather recently, and just like that beautiful bearded bastard Barry Bertrum, you're probably wondering,
what is this?
Tormented Souls 2 is, rather unsurprisingly, a direct sequel to Tormented Souls. A game I mostly remember for featuring full frontal female nudity in the first 5 minutes. Oh, and it was also a survival horror game as well. I always forget that. This sequel sees us once again playing as Caroline Walker, as she explores eerie monasteries and other nightmarish locations in a bid to rescue her cursed sister. Sorry dear viewers, bit distracted, still thinking about that full frontal female nudity from the first game. So let's review Tormented Souls 2 the only way I know how. Badly. And let's start with what I enjoy about this game. I'm a big fan of survival horror games. You know, exploring spooky locations, solving very simplistic puzzles, getting keys to open doors, doing battle with creatures that wouldn't look out of place in your worst nightmares. And I'm glad to say that Tormented Souls 2 fulfills all of those requirements. And some. Unlike the first game, which, if I'm remembering correctly, featured only one boss fight, Tormented Souls 2 has 5 of the bloody things. So it felt much more like something like, I don't know, Resident Evil in that particular regard. Like Resident Evil as well, the story here is complete and utter bonkers. There's a cult of bloody nuns, a god that they're somehow trying to resurrect, time travel, experiments, all of that good shit. Another thing I really enjoyed is the fact that unlike the original game, which, if I'm remembering correctly again, only took place inside a hospital. I think it was a hospital. I'm sure it was a hospital. This time you get to explore a convent, a school, a church, that underground laboratory I briefly mentioned before. So this is a much more open and larger scale game than the original, which, as we all know, a good sequel should be. Take what works in the original and just make it bigger, better. And Tormented Souls 2 definitely does that. What else did I like about the game? Like the first game, this game also features 2 different endings, each with their own requirements to obtain them. Now, I won't spoil that here, but let's just say there's a particularly handsome chap that you meet about halfway through the game that you might, if you have the time, if you would care to consider it, you might want to try and ensure that he's still alive at the end of the game. I'm saying nothing. So let's move on to what I didn't like so much about Tormented Souls 2. And I'll try to keep this brief. This is not a AAA game franchise like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. So things like the voice acting, the character models, the lip syncing, all of them are not the best. Not bad, just not the best. This game is also very much a paint-by-numbers survival horror experience. So if you've played a lot of those kinds of games, like I have, you might find this game to be, I don't know, a little derivative. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, accidentally set fire to the t-shirt, bought another t-shirt, it got lost in the mail, bought a third t-shirt, spilled brandy on the damn thing. I think you get my point. But if you can get past all of that, Tormented Souls is a far superior game to what came before it. And this is a series that I actually wouldn't mind seeing continue on in a third or, dare I say, even fourth game. Therefore, I declare that Tormented Souls 2 is very good. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my review for Tormented Souls 2. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.